Hey folks, Crystal Cox here, Whistleblower Media, and I got cut off. So this is part 2 of Marc Randazza's blog and the things that he's saying against me. I had left off saying that I think that bloggers are better a source of information because they're oftentimes first-hand information. They're taking videos or pictures of a scene. They're passionate about a story. They know people that are involved, or it's in their hometown, or involves their expertise quite often, or somebody they know firsthand versus, say, you know, Forbes, New York Times, some of these bigger ones where it doesn't involve something firsthand. So I wanted to I think I was talking about not going with Marc Randazza, so I really wanted to pick somebody who represented citizen journalists, corruption bloggers, whistleblowers. It's not necessarily about all bloggers and their right to have free speech. It's about corruption bloggers. It's about citizen journalists. It's about the Occupy movement and people out there talking about what's really going on and having the same rights as press. There's a big movement now, you know, to keeping the Occupy people out. Those bloggers and those people, they're there. You know, I can't be in all these places, and you got these bloggers, they want to go in and have the same rights as the press to give you that information of what's going on in these different functions, and they're not allowed to be treated as media and press. So there's a huge push to keep bloggers, the citizens journalists ones, whistleblowers, the people, corruption bloggers, people actually exposing politics and what's really going on with real videos of what's going on with cops and what's happening to people. There's a real push to shut these people up. So I wanted an attorney that could be able to set a precedence or information enough to protect these people. As far as the information out there where the judge is saying, oh, just this blogger's the one not protected because apparently I extorted somebody. Well, you have to keep in mind that why is a federal judge accusing me of extortion in a motion to deny a new trial? Why isn't a federal judge calling for an FBI complaint, an attorney general, and a criminal investigation of me if he has enough evidence of a crime that I possibly committed? I've gave Judge Hernandez plenty of information to call an investigation on Obsidian Finance. I've showed him documents, and none of this has been taken seriously. Nothing's been investigated. I've also given Judge Hernandez information that suggests jury tampering, and that was completely dismissed. I've shown where, and of course he's not going to out himself, but I've shown where Gordon Smith, Senator Gordon Smith, Senator Ron Wyden, and all these connections, and utility companies, you know, the utility companies in Oregon, the biggest ones, work with Obsidian Finance, Pacific Corp, you know, Bonneville. You got Energy Northwest. You know, research all this information. Their solar farms are connected to all of this. The corruption that I'm exposing, that I'm promoting, Stephanie DeYoung was exposing it, that I'm promoting was exposes ethics or criminal activity, you know, bad stuff within Sussman Shank, you know, conflicts in Miller Nash, Perkins Coie, you know, the Oregon elite. A lot of the people inside Summit called them the Portland, Oregon attorney fraternity. So of course they're all going to protect each other. Now Judge Hernandez refused to sign a conflict of interest disclosure. I have every right to have a judge that's not conflicted. He should have disqualified himself with the connections that I've already found, and I presented those connections to the court, and I'm still denied my right. So for a federal judge to accuse me of a crime that it was a civil trial. I was not on trial for that email, but the judge somehow threw in a judgment on that email and my denial to a new trial, which it doesn't even make any sense. They're saying if I committed a crime, I'm not media? Well, so if, say, you got some journalist and he's been like in media all these years, all of a sudden he does something illegal, then is he still media? I mean, it makes no sense what Judge Hernandez says. Then he talks about deferred gain and all this stuff in his opinion. That didn't even come up in anything that he'd said before. And he's not a CPA. He never demanded the other side to show me information that proved that they paid the deferred gain. This judge saying that I've committed extortion, it's illegal for him to commit me of this. But see, he has judicial immunity, and now that it's in a court document, all these people reposting it probably have absolute privilege. The thing is the objection to the fees in Summit was a court document. So I said, well, why don't I get protection of absolute privilege? Because I had, in my counter complaint to them, I had claimed that they were defaming me and, you know, inciting a riot against me, basically, in what they were saying in these documents that was getting into the public. Well, then the judge did it, right? So if Judge Hernandez does this, I told him during the trial, I said, I'm being accused of a crime, I want a public defender. And he said, which you can see in the trial transcripts, he said, the plaintiff's attorney is not accusing you of a crime. If he does, then just plead the fifth. See, but the judge is accusing me of a crime in a document where I don't have a chance to plead the fifth. And everybody's jumping on the bandwagon because they want to shut up citizen journalists, they want to shut up bloggers, and I never did extort anybody. I was never charged with it. So it just doesn't make any sense. Okay, so while many journalists are off in their own way, my conduct. So they're judging my conduct, which is quite interesting for Marc Randazza, you know, to be judging my conduct. If you examine his life and his career, some of the things that he's defended, I don't think there's really any right to judge my conduct, but I guess free speech, anybody can judge my conduct the way they want. However, that doesn't mean that I'm not a journalist just because someone doesn't like my conduct. And one of the definitions of being a media journalist, whatever, or the shield law applying, all these things, attraction law, is if you have your own independent product. Well, the judge basically said I didn't have my own independent project. Product. He listed all these things. I certainly do keep notes. I had Nakai Publishing. I have put out books. I've certainly done pamphlets. The blog is a wire service. None of it made sense. They never once said, oh, well, she's not journalist. In that decision that said I wasn't media, they never said, oh, well, she's not media because she's guilty of extortion. Because the judge said that I wasn't being accused of extortion. So you guys really have to look at the facts. There's a lynch mob in order to silence me because I'm exposing corruption and because they want to shut up citizen bloggers and whistleblowers and people that do what I do, which is exposing corruption within the judicial system, judges, you know, cops, attorneys. And so it's not just about regular blogging. It's about blogging that exposes folks like Marc Randazza, folks like, you know, Kenneth White and some of these attorneys out there, what they're doing and different judges exposing them, they really want to shut that down. So if the defamation blog was about a recipe or something, for example, it probably wouldn't have went that way. You know, it's just that I'm infringing on their world because I'm exposing their kind, you know, attorneys, judges, whatever. Okay, so she's tried to do the same thing to me that she did to Kevin Patrick. Without my knowledge, consent, or permission, Cox registered the domain name marcrandazza.com. Okay, so he's saying here that I needed his permission to get marcrandazza.com. Why didn't he buy it? And if I need his permission, then why did the registrar sell it? Okay, and was there permission asked to Glenn Beck for that guy that I think it's Isaac or something that Marc Randazza represented or spoke out for? Did they need Glenn Beck's permission to get Glenn Beck raped and murdered a young girl in 1990? And Mark's emailed to me, he said I didn't have no right to get a name that resembled his or had his name in it. Well, really? Well, how come he defends other people's right to do that? Okay, having learned a thing or two from losing $2.5 million, she was slick about her stated rationale, claiming she did so to control the search and PR on her case. She initially asked me to handle the appeal. Flat out lie. I did not ask him to handle the appeal. We had a kind of a mutual interview, and as I'd stated earlier, one of my bloggers asked him. He never told me that he even wanted to continue with the case, but instead just left me hanging, but at the same time told people in the First Amendment bar that he represented me. He tried to negotiate for me without talking to me or even talking to me about what he was negotiating about. And I heard this from people within the First Amendment bar. So, yes, to control the search. That's what I've been doing for about 7 years on whatever it is that I try to do. It's not anything I learned from a $2.5 million judgment. And so, okay, initially I registered it under someone else's name. Subpoena GoDaddy. I did not register it in anyone else's name, okay? I registered it in my name, and then when I transferred some domains in a sale, it went to somebody else, but then I took it back when I realized it. I didn't really realize it. I've always blogged in my name. I don't do anonymous and anonymous like all these people out there trashing me, so that's just not true. He says I'm trying to evade a $2.5 million judgment by a domain name worth $10. Now, does it make any sense at all that a domain name worth $10 I would have tried to avoid a judgment? Who cares? I got the domain name to promote my case, and to talk about things, yes, to do with Marc Randazza, to do with free speech, to do with any issues at all. I mean, I first thought he was involved in the Larry Flynt case, so which was confusing in the Wikipedia thing. There's a lot of things to do with Marc Randazza that I was going to talk about in my case, so I got the .com. Makes sense, right? It's not illegal, and if it is, it's something to take up with Congress and the Registrar. So, okay, she wrote to evade, okay, she wrote, ownership is well a different story now due to my current judgment. Of course I did. Because they were going to take my assets. They're still working to take domain names that have ever been in my name. So yes, exactly what I meant by that is that my current judgment, ownership is a different story. Yes, I manage it, I'm running it now, but ownership is a different story at some point because they're coming from my assets. You know, they've totally distorted everything that I've said in order to just make me look bad, but really, is this really about the messenger when I link to the documents that are about the story? Instead of digging deep into the story and what really happened in the Summit bankruptcy, they're pointing the finger at me. Okay, so now this is this email that he posted, and keep in mind, certainly he wasn't my attorney then. However, I had already been accused of extortion in the trial, so why would I be sending anything that I thought was remotely to do with extortion? I could be asking him if he wanted to buy Amway. I mean, you know, whatever. Some of my signatures say all the businesses that I have. So yeah, I will soon be posting all of my emails with Marc Randazza, and you'll see that he said, in his own words, he has no problem with me asking him for a job. And so, which I did. Why not? He said we were cool. After I told him I didn't want to work with him, he said that was fine. And so once he learned I had his .com, then he completely turned on me. So then after that, he said, oh, you really want to, he asked me, he demanded I give him the name, then he offered to buy the name. I refused all that, so then he started working with the other side. When he started working with the other side, I got upset, and that's when I bought a bunch of more domain names, which, yeah, I think he talks about down here. FuckMarcRandazza.com, Marc Randazza Sucks, Mark J, and then I got, yeah, Blogger. He missed WordPress. I got a few others. And I don't, if that's illegal, I guess then they need to stop people from being able to do it. You should have to give your passport to buy a domain name to make sure that you're buying only domain names with your name in it. So, I mean, if that's the law, then they need to change the law. So anyway, he was talking to the other side and working to set me up. So then I bought these names, including, and then I noticed that his wife's name, some article had popped up because I was, you know, Googling things to do with Sandra Fluke and the slut thing, and because Marc Randazza was defending Rush Limbaugh in calling Sandra Fluke a slut. And I ran across a page on Marc Randazza's site that talked about him in a drunken tryst with his wife, and that where babies really come from, and it was this glass of liquor, and it was a under the caption said where babies really come from, and then he proposed to her and said, well, I'm just going to make an honest woman of her. So at the same time as defending the Sandra Fluke thing, so yeah, I got his wife's .com, and then I said something about her being a slut. Sure sounds like she's a slut. So you can see what I wrote on that, poking fun at him. And as far as seeing, I seen that his child's .com was available too, so I bought it. Never publicized that I owned it. Popehat.com did that. Forbes has done that. Marc Randazza's done that. And they've also posted pictures of her. If there's a picture down below, I'll try to avoid it. I have never published the name. I've never wrote on the name, even though Kashmir Hill lies. You could subpoena GoDaddy or Google and try to get that information, or you can just believe these guys lie against me. Just never happened. Okay. Oh yeah, I was going to read you the email. Okay, so when I thought we would work together, right, I bought it, Control the Search and PR. Yeah, I'm confident with the case, and I'm leaving it to the highest and best good. I do need to make money, so I'm asking if you know anybody that would need a good search engine reputation manager. Not sure if you've searched your online presence, so I'm promoting myself, and then I'm sure, I don't know, I said I don't know what you think of the David Amon's extortion thing, but the thing is that lots of people do search engine management things. So, because we discussed this, I mean, I didn't think that he believed these, but apparently he did believe that I was guilty of extortion. He just hadn't really told me. So, okay, tons of people do it. And so when he sent me a cease and desist and filed a lawsuit, I offered it as a way to settle. So I told him this, that I had offered it as a way to settle, and he's still saying, oh, she did the same thing to me, she tried to extort me too. No, I'm explaining to him what I did, because that's what I did. And to not spend a year fighting. Okay, he turned it down. A year later, accused me of a crime. It's simply not how it happened. Anyway, if you know anybody that needs a job, you know, basically let me know. And he emailed me back, and I will be posting those emails, and said that he, you know, pretty much threw a fit and demanded that I give him the name and blah, blah, blah. Okay, needed to make money, so she asked if I needed a very good search engine reputation manager. Apparently he offered this same dubious service to David Aim and counsel for Patrick Offers, and he accused her of extortion. I can't imagine why. Okay, again, I offered those services after the lawsuit was filed. So check your facts, and I've also posted the string of emails where he's asked me my services, and it was also in response to threats that they'd sent me. So no, yep, I did get some more, and also I'm going to probably buy a new one once a week. This week I bought Marc Randazza is a lying asshole.com. Haven't got to build it yet, but if it's illegal, then please somebody let me know, and I will not do it anymore. I have no information that it's illegal. Then he's whining because I bought that. I mean, why didn't he buy that? So yeah, like a journalist would, right? It's a whole new playing field for journalists. It's a whole new playing field out there on the internet. Call it what you want, whine what you want. The facts are the facts, okay? Fortunately for me, I'm not particularly sensitive to public perception. Really? Well, then how come he emailed me and said, you made your point, what do you want? And also, he, let's see, okay, fortunately I forgot what I was saying. Fortunately for me, the work I do is not public. He told me in his phone call with me that some bigwigs in the porn industry called him and said, what are you going to do about the Crystal Cox case? So he acted like he's going to do something about it because they wanted him to do something about it. So basically, this is just not really true. Friends that understand who I am and what I stand for, well, his record is speaking for himself. I mean, he's defending that Glenn Beck name, but he's turning on me for the name I had. He's defending Rush Limbaugh for calling Sandra Fluke a slut, at the same time as he's upset with me for calling his wife a slut. Okay? Yes, Jennifer Randazza and the wife. Okay, I'm going to put this over here to the side because I'm not going to show this down here. Okay, what it says is, when this didn't get the desired response, Cox turned to a lower place. She focused her attention to my 3-year-old daughter and registered, and then he names that. Now, I never outed that. I never outed that at all. Never publicized that he did, and he's also published a picture of his daughter. And I never did that. He's exploiting his own daughter in order to try to defame me. Okay, I'm going down below that. Okay, so he's saying that I have turned his attentions on his 3-year-old. Nope, he did. Never once did that. Not true at all. Okay, this is the kind of person that Crystal Cox is. And these are the depths she will sink when one of her victims spurns her offers to do search engine management for them. Okay, not true. Yep, I do search engine reputation management now. Never had a job at it. I would like to have a job at it. I'm very good at it. I make money. I made money over all these years with real estate and with selling supplements. And then I had someone email me and ask me if I did search engine reputation management. So I thought, oh, well, I guess I probably could do that. And so then I put an ad in Craigslist when I lived in Colorado, and then I had someone contact me to do it. And so I thought, well, yeah, I guess I could do that. I wasn't thinking it's a conflict of interest with what I do. People say, well, if you're investigating blogging, it's a conflict of interest. Well, investigative blogging is what makes me good at it, and I'm very good at it. I don't write about people and then offer to remove information for money. I've never done that. They're saying that because they need something to have against me. So, okay. The internet has irreversibly changed the face of news reporting and journalism as a whole. Okay, you can read all that. Okay, but as uneducated extortionist stalkers like Crystal Cox try to wrap themselves in the cloak of journalistic privilege, an outraged public, the people who elect the judiciary in many countries, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm an internet extortionist and stalker. No, I'm a very good deep researcher and investigative blogger, and yes, when I target something, I research it, and I get it out there, and I get it found to give the victims a voice. Okay. Bad apple out of the cart. I'm not claiming to be in their cart. I don't even want to be in their cart. I'm doing my own thing. I'm independent. Always have been, always will be. Alright, let's see. Oh, I don't want to wrestle with Crystal Cox. I don't now let's see, what does it say? I don't now wrestle with Crystal Cox because I care about her insane, grammatically challenged, and barely literate scrawling. Anyone who reads it universally reacts by calling it batshit crazy. I don't need to defend myself against the likes of her. Well, he's defending himself like crazy, calling all his buddies to defend me. Also, take a look at Common Sense. I think it was Thomas Paine, right? When everybody made fun of where he capitalized and how he did things too. I do what I do for it's independent. It's what I like to do. I draw attention to certain words in my way. And obviously it works. So it's got your guys' attention. I mean, the whole world's talking about me. So if it doesn't bother you and if you're not going to defend yourself, then why do you keep talking about it? I wrestle with her now because I realize that I have a responsibility too. When she attacked me, it had no effect. Really? Okay, I turned to his innocent wife. Okay, when I attacked him, it had no effect. Really? Well, then why did you email me and say, oh, what do you want? And why was you going to work with the other side to put all your might and plane tickets and to set me up for extortion so you could get a $10 domain name? That is when I turned on your innocent wife. Like you turned on innocent Sandra Fluke, right? Right. Wah, wah, wah. Then she turned to my more innocent 3-year-old daughter. Really? I bought a dotcom. You're the one that's got the name in the search. You're the one that's got the pictures in the search. I did nothing of the kind. Okay. More innocent people. Extort, harm, and smear. Some of them contacted me and I need to speak for them. Alright, well, why don't you investigate every one of them who contact you? Why don't you read documents, read police reports, read every single thing you can on these people, because you think there's a few of them, and some people are like, oh, I've already found some more. Oh, there's probably thousands of people, because I have dug deep, and I have found everybody connected to everything. Go to www.deniedpatent.com or iviewit.tv, and you can see that there are thousands of people involved in the things that I write. So you're going to be very, very busy defending them all. Good luck to you. Hope you can make some money at that. Then you won't have to, you know, try to be some sort of a media whore and promote Rush Limbaugh in slamming women across the entire world. I realized then, thanks to that I have had to wrestle with a pig. I had to do it before Cox causes harm to anyone else. So basically, you know, you want to get in the mud and wrestle? I think that would be great, because I probably have, well, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure what Marc looks like in person, but I'm pretty sure I have bigger breasts than him. I'll probably get a lot more attention than him in some sort of a pig mud wrestling. The reason she was able to do what she did with Patrick was in part because nobody pushed her back and put a spotlight on her behavior before. Really? Really? Well, I've been set up by judges. I've had newspapers say bad things about me. I have had WIPO complaints filed against me. I have had all kinds of things coming at me for years. So the reason I was able to do what I did with Kevin Patrick is because I did it all day, every day for years in hopes to expose corruption in the bankruptcy system and in hopes to make the world a better place and bring in transparency and accountability. I never got any money for it. I gave up my way of life, money, everything I ever had I gave to all of this. It's not because nobody tried to push me back. I have had all kinds of things to push me back, ruin my life, set me up. I've been drugged. I've had death threats. I've had all kinds of things to try to push me back. Okay, so that's just not true. Okay, her loss in district court and the sloppy blogging about the case elevated her credibility. Sloppy blogging. Okay. That just simply is what it is. She needs to be exposed, and bloggers need to reject her. Reject me. I don't care. None of you were in my life in the first place. None of you were exposing the corruption or standing behind me in the first place. I don't care whether you reject me or not. If you want to expose me, you want to pull my pants down and run, fine. You want to talk about my lesbian videos or my writing or anything I've written or my photography or poetry or what I've said about anybody, you just go right ahead and spend your time doing whatever makes you sleep best at night, okay? That's just fine with me. Okay, no doubt the blogging community needs as much protection as we can. I'm not claiming to be part of the blogging community, okay? I'm a corruption blogger. I am a citizen's journalist. I am exposing corruption, okay? I'm not saying I want to be part of any community. I believe many bloggers who I read, talk to, and work with would qualify for protection under the Shield Stock. Crystal Cox does not, and cannot advance this goal. Really? Well, I am advancing the goal. And in the words of Marc Randazza, my case will be used in order to change laws. I mean, that's what he told me. He's just saying this now because he's all butthurt, which is what he liked to say about Senator Fluke. If the blogging community wishes to stand among those with the title of journalist, then it must reject people like Crystal Cox. Oh, reject me. Okay, sorry. Didn't know you before this case, so go ahead and reject me. Go ahead and trash me and tar and feather me. Does that change the truth of what I was exposing? No.